Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in episode 59 of Living the Sweet Life. She is my beautiful, sexy co host and wife, the lovely Tryst.
And he is my sexy chocolate husband, Locke.
Proud to be. I'm going to get that tatted on my neck, maybe.
And
Sexy
chocolate.
husband lock all the way around.
Oh my goodness. I don't know about that part.
And hey, everybody, thanks for joining us again in episode 59. We feeling fine at 59. We're having fun. Today is going to be a good one. It's pretty monumental for the beautiful, lovely Tryst. And it's just an epic story that we can't wait to share. We want to hear some about your fantasies coming true. Um, yeah, no, this is going to be a good one. We're looking forward to sharing all the good stuff. I want to say hi to everybody out there on IG Live. Tryst is doing IG
Hey
Live as we
guys.
speak.
Hey.
So, hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. We're trying to take y'all into the holidays with some sexy stuff to talk about and to think about and maybe put some stuff on your wish list as the new year coming around.
Absolutely. And don't forget to tell me about it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's the fun part. I want to hear all the good stuff. So, let's see. Right. Before we get into all the shenanigans, all the crazy stuff, y'all know we got to knock out some housekeeping. So email us at thesweetlifepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at sweetlifepod and follow us on Instagram at the Sweet Life Podcast. I said that backwards. It didn't feel right, but
You got it.
we got the message out there. And for all of my wonderful sweet talkers listening to us on any of your favorite podcast catchers, if you are inclined to join us one day live in the suite, make sure you check out the YouTube page. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified when we go live so you can be a sweet talker the next time. You can join in, give us some of your opinions, hear some of our stories live, and always the best part, taking a look and see what Tryst is wearing.
Yes. Absolutely. Because I love to dress up.
I mean, I try to do right by y'all too, you know what I'm saying? But Tryst is always just fire,
Thank you, babe.
You're
I
welcome,
appreciate
babe.
it.
No, thank you, honey. Thank you. You make this so much easier. You make life a joy. You make coming down here a pure pleasure. It's not work at all when I'm chilling out here with you, babe.
That's good to hear. I'm glad it's not work.
So yeah, let's see. That's the housekeeping stuff, and I'm still flirting with my wife. Man, we had a good night last night.
Yeah, it's just why I sound like a little boy going through puberty.
That's
right now.
gross. No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
We'll get to that too. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Yeah, find us on all the podcast catchers, all that good stuff. YouTube. Oh yeah, thanks to everybody who's listening to us on Full Swap Radio. They're awesome. They've been pumping our stuff for, I think the relationship has been going on for almost a year now.
I think
Yeah.
it will be coming
Yeah.
up in 2022. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we rocking and rolling with them. Good folks. They taking good care of us. And oh, right. PCAP. We're just doing this just because we give a shit, because we care, because the past couple of experiences have been dope. So we want y'all to know about PCAP 2022. They're going to be out in Palm Springs, California.
Yes.
It's going to be hot.
It's going to be
And
hot.
I'm not talking about the weather. This is going to be like the biggest event that she's had. She being Kate from Wanderlust Swingers. I think it's 160 plus rooms, something like that. This one's going to be epic, man. It's going to be epic. We don't have the exact dates in front of us, but make sure you go check it out.
Yeah,
check
we
it
do
out.
know it's going to be June of 2022.
Yep, June of 2022. Y'all going to have a great time. Unfortunately, the Sweet Life will not be present. We won't be there because
so disappointed in us.
I know. But we got some stuff going on for us. We're taking a vacation that very next month. It's going to be a very long trip. And we can't wear out our babysitter back-to-back months.
We got to be adults sometimes.
Yeah, we got to be responsible parents at some point.
That whole thing.
Right. So we had to make some family decisions on that, but we know that our FOMO is going to go bananas.
And I can't wait to see the pictures. So make sure y'all post the pictures. Let me know the stories. I can't wait to hear all about it.
Stay tuned for all those theme nights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the seminars, everything.
We already know a ton of friends that are going to be out there that's going to have a great time.
Yes.
And we are hating.
Already. It's not even 2022 yet.
But no, really check out the website, check out all the information, join the newsletter group or whatever it is, and just stay active and learn about what's going on, what to expect out there. I think you're going to have a really, really great time. We've had a blast both times, and we can't wait to get back out there.
I really do. I
in 23.
appreciate all the support
Yep.
with PCAP. Definitely do.
For sure. And one last housekeeping note for Sweet Life. Well, we're going to miss out on PCAP next year, but going into 2022, we're going to be down in Mexico. Where are we going, babe?
We're going to Temptations for the first time.
Yes, for the first time.
We have not been, which is surprising since some people are like, what? I was like, no, I've never been to Temptation.
Yeah, a lot of people like to dip their toe in the water by going to Temptations first before you jump over and hit Desire.
But not us.
Nah, we do shit backwards. But no, we can't wait to get down there and see what it's like, see what all the hubbub is about.
Yeah.
Can't wait. We're going down for one of our friends' birthdays, and we're gonna bring in the new year all at the same time. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be epic.
Either way, it's gonna be fun because it's our friend's birthday.
Damn right, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully. What are you talking about? Hopefully.
I'm saying hopefully because I'm used to a certain cadence, with Desire and Hito, and I gotta figure out Temptations cadence and how it works.
Got you. Okay. All right, well, y'all know what it is. Before we get into all the play stuff, all the hands touching and moving, before we get into our sexy attire, y'all know how I gotta check in with the boo. So, baby, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Really quick, I want to touch back with the Sweet Talkers. So PCAP, looks like PCAP is going to be, the dates are June the 3rd through the 6th of 2022. Thank you, Sweet Talker. Yeah. Thank you for hooking us up with that because I was trying to find that.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Sweet Talker. And some people saying hello from Canada.
Hi.
Hey there. Hey there.
Hello. How am I feeling? I'm feeling fine. I don't feel like my voice just sounds bad. It's starting to sound bad, but I feel fine. It doesn't hurt. It's just I sound really deep in voice for some reason. But otherwise, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. We were out a lot this weekend, so it was a lot of yelling and talking, which is not great for the show, but it was fun. We went to 2 events. We're going to talk about those later. I had a good time. We met.
You can say what events they were.
Oh, we went to Exotica. Mm-hmm. Here, that event was fire. I had a really good time there with all the vendors and looking at all the displays. It was great. I mean, I saw Stormy Daniels. I was in there. And then we went to Friction yesterday. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a busy weekend with a lot of talking. But a side note story to that is that we went to Exotica and Locke decides that he wants to buy this. You guys can see it because you're online. Yeah. He wants to buy this big chocolate dick. Right? This is Friday. He wants to buy this. He was like, "Oh, you need this in your life.
It's a photo opportunity." Right?
Yeah. So he buys it. Fine. Of course, we go home. We go to sleep. Oh, and who wants to come over the next morning? My father. Mm-hmm. So I'm downstairs. I'm like, okay, waiting for him to get there. And on the counter, there's this big chocolate dick. And I'm sitting here like scrambling. Like, I don't know if he's going to come in the house or whatever. And then we had the toddler home. I was like, I don't want her to like pick it up somewhere and just run and run. So I'm like, the safest place to put it was in the studio. So I ran downstairs and threw it in the studio. I was like, they're not going to come in here. But yes, that's what kind of like my funny story from the weekend is that it's this big chocolate dick randomly in our house that I did not want the toddler or my dad to find.
So let that be a lesson to you. Don't leave your giant chocolate dicks laying around.
Don't leave your dicks out. Right, exactly. No. So, Locke, how are you feeling?
Someone is checking in that says, "Hey, sexy people. Me and my hubby will be attending PCAP for the first time in June."
Nice.
All right.
Yes, I'm excited to know that.
Right, and I'm so jealous. Y'all gonna be making me cry.
Exactly. Where are you going to be joining from? Like, where are you from?
Right.
Yeah, just put that in the chat. But that's so exciting. I really hope you guys. I know you're going to have a good time.
Yeah,
it's really cool, folks.
It's gonna be great.
All right. So, Locke, how are you feeling?
Me, babe, I am feeling a bit wiser about who we are and what we want sexually. Why?
Are you now?
Why you ask?
Are you feel like you grew up?
I feel like we have grown up just a little bit, just a little bit, right?
We got a little wiser.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes from like having great conversations with a lot of a lot of our friends in different friend circles, by the way. So a few weeks back, one of our friends posted in one of our chats that they were watching the show on Netflix, Sex, Love, and Goop. It's the Gwyneth Paltrow relationship show on Netflix. It's a little series, about 6 or 7 episodes, something like that. But they one of the key um, figures in the episode or in the show it revolves around the sexual blueprint, and I think who are they? Torch Souls.
Torch
They
Souls,
posted
yes.
about that, and they actually did their seminar about that in the last PCAP in PCAP original in
Miami.
Miami. Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
You're gonna get me through this. I appreciate that.
I try.
But anyway, so the sexual blueprint, we did that with some of our friends, and it was not only a great conversation piece, like we were able to just talk about how you identify or what did you get, like what were oh my words,
You get it.
I'm not wordsing well today.
You'll get it. Go.
No, yeah. What did you earn in the quiz? Like, what did you discover? So the the five different qualifications, I don't know, specifications. Shit, it's late, man. Are like what? Sexual, kinky, energetic, sensual, or a shapeshifter. And they all have different like specifications that come to each one of them. But we discovered ours. You know, we did a little digging and we was able to have like conversations with each other. And it turns out that Tryst, her number one, and they ranked them. Um, Tryst number one was kinky. And what
Ain't no surprise, right?
no surprise. And y'all gonna see how it all relates. But as kinky, she likes the unconventional, right? I'm not speaking for you. I'm trying to go by what
this is your how you feeling. I'm here.
I'm trying to go by what the description
yes, you're right.
said that you like unconventional stuff. You're here for the paddles and the spanking and the tying and the blindfolds and all that fun stuff.
All right?
All that cool stuff. That's like your number one. Mm-hmm. My number one was the shapeshifter. And that means that I can kind of mold myself into whatever the mood is, whatever that kind of energy is happening in the room. I can do that. I can be that kind of, I can fulfill that space. And I tend to agree with that.
I think so too.
It's like all of them feel like great to me. But the second one for me was sexual. And sexual is kind of just like, you know, dick and pussy. You know,
let's get it in.
You know, it was the sexual nature of it all. And but the thing about Tryst was that was her last one, I think.
Yes.
It was your last one.
It was last.
And that was an interesting discovery. And that led to some really good conversations about how, you know, when we look back on, you know, maybe the times that I thought I was trying to initiate sex with her, it didn't resonate because she needs more. She needs more than just intercourse.
Yeah, dick and pussy.
Right. And then we're trying to relate that into more of like our lifestyle as well. Like we're learning how, you know, what triggers might help us get to that finish line with certain couples, or what we might need to do to, you know, make things a little bit more entertaining, I guess.
Yes.
Right.
Without me getting absolutely bored fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's a great conversation starter. And the reason I'm telling you guys all this, yes, how I'm feeling. And we want you guys to participate. So to all of our loyal sweet talkers, we're going to post the quiz in our show notes and wherever you can find it. We're going to post them like on Twitter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
In preparation for our next discussion for
the next show.
For the next show.
And we'll probably do it multiple times just to make sure that you guys don't miss it. But it's really, really cool. We've done it with different friend circles.
Yeah.
And it's like a conversation starter. And it starts to make sense to why even you guys have the type of relationship that you have when it comes to like lifestyle, right? Mm-hmm. And why that kind of works.
Right. So yeah, we're gonna have a discussion on that and kind of like personality types and how all that stuff kind of fits in. Should be a lot of fun. It's gonna be very, very interesting. So we're looking forward to it. Next part of how I'm feeling. Um, I'm excited to conduct our first live poll. So as you have seen in the chat, people, we are doing a poll on this lovely our third right here.
That scares the crap out of me when you don't, because it's black guys, like it's like a shadow. So imagine that with the lights off and it's randomly
But we gotta say what
like
it
down the
is.
steps.
We gotta tell people what it is on the in podcast world. Podcast world. So this is what we have. I ordered a life-size mannequin to practice my rope bondage on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been practicing, and you have detachable arms and a detachable head, and yeah, she's pretty life size. But what we're doing is conducting a poll to find out what we should name her. And right
Shadow.
now, no. So the poll is, what should we name our bondage practice buddy? Monica, Simone, or Victoria? Right now, Simone is in the lead at 83%. We're gonna keep this poll live all through the episode. And this is our first one. So we're just trying this out. We're gonna see how we do with this.
Simone.
And maybe drop a few more poll questions as we go along. So that's how I'm feeling, babe.
So let's see. Let's catch up with some of the sweet talkers. Says that, hey, sexy people. We read that one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, all sexy people. You're going to enjoy Temptations we had at Ball. We are making a plan to go to Desire next year.
Ooh.
Let me know. I'll tell you some tricks about Desire. I love Desire. And the next we talk, that was the one that's going to be attending PCAP for the first time in June.
Cali.
They're from Cali. Oh, nice.
All right.
Nice.
Cali folks. I mean, because that's more convenient.
Yeah, that is. It's closer, right?
In theory, like I don't know what part of
Cali.
right.
Where how from Palm Springs that is, but still, yeah, that's still closer.
Yeah.
The other sweet talker says that Tryst loved the white tank top, so sexy.
Mm-hmm.
So I copied off of him today, but thank you, I appreciate it. He wore this shirt color, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wear this tank top with no bra, and
really?
and do the thing. There's nothing here, babe. Yeah, go.
Boop, boop.
Yeah, no, it's not. Nope,
I like
nothing.
that. See, you're gonna get us kicked off YouTube. There we go.
So yeah, but go ahead.
All right. Cool. Now that we got all that stuff out of the way.
Now that my nipple got hard on that one side.
You're welcome. My beautiful queen, my wonderful, wonderful sweet talkers. Are you guys ready to get into tonight's episode?
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, folks. Thank you so much for hanging in there. We are so excited for this episode. I mean, we're excited for every episode, but goddamn, this one means something. Like this one really, really means something to Locke and Tryst, right? Or to Tryst and Locke, right?
Locke was the wingman.
I was definitely a wingman. But I mean, it was a lot of fun getting here. I mean, tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about making fantasies come true. Not just Tryst, but we want to find out about yours. And we've had fantasy discussions before, but we never really talked about how we can make them happen, or what it looks like when it does happen, and how you feeling as it's going down. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Any regrets? That kind of stuff. So let's take a little walk.
And kind of how you feel afterwards.
How you feel afterwards?
Do you still feel the same? That excitement that you got this done. Now what? Like, did it go according to plan? Like, how did you feel afterwards? Things like that.
Do you want to run it back?
Do you want to? Yeah, run it back. Right.
Or do you never want to do it again?
Exactly. Right. So, it's like you got it out of your system. Good.
Good point. Yeah, getting it out of your system. Okay. All right. So like I said, we're gonna be talking about making fantasies come true. So if you've been listening to our show for the past couple of months or so, you've likely heard Tryst mention one of her most desired fantasies. Mm-hmm. I mean, this thing came out of the blue. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish up our PCAP recap, and we're going to talk about Sunday, where this thing kind of came to a head, how we met up with some beautiful, sexy people who were just willing participants, enthusiastic participants to help this thing come to reality. So Tryst, tell us a little bit about what the fantasy is, and where the hell did it come from?
So the fantasy is was, I guess, what do we say now? Was
That's a good point. I like it.
that I wanted to step on someone, and I think the
But we're
new
not talking about just your bare foot. What we talking about
no.
here?
So it is basically stepping on someone in a patent leather high heel boots, or it could have been like a heel, but it had to
Hmm.
be black, like patent leather, like that whole scene of it, right?
Mm.
And it came from Hump Fest. So at the beginning of quarantine, I guess, and COVID, when everything had kind of happened, we got on a group chat with some friends, and we watched Hump Fest. That was my first time ever watching it, and I swear it was like this little small like scene that was not even a big thing that happened that I caught, and this woman literally put her heel on this man,
Hmm.
and that whole thing, I like it. Out of everything we saw, that one small window resonated with me, and I
Hmm.
kept thinking about it.
Right.
It was like a loop, and it would come back up, and I'll think about it again. I'll think about it again. But the urge that I wanted to do this thing, it just kept kind of going, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
How did it make you? How did it make you feel? Like when you saw it go down, it just gave you like a charge. Did it make you horny, or was it something that just made you curious?
It wasn't that it made me horny. It
Hmm.
just it immediately put an energy inside of me that I
Mm.
had never kind of like felt
Mm.
before, that I wanted to figure out what that was.
Hmm.
And then I started looking up stuff online, and then I ran across a different image of a woman where she was sitting in a chair, same thing, patent leather, black heel boots. She had a guy, he was on a collar, and she had a chain, and that whole thing, and she had her foot up on him. And I was like, I have to figure out what this is and why these images make sense to me.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think sometime after that, we did some little BDSM quizzes to try to figure out like how we fit into that mold, or how does this all work.
Yes.
And we were coming up as like switches and all that stuff, but we were very, very high level, and I think we still are. But
Yeah.
we started to go down that road. We
Yes.
started to explore what those feelings might be.
Might be.
Hmm.
Right.
So what about you, sweet talkers? So when you discover a fantasy of yours, so who do you share that fantasy with? Do you share it with like your lifestyle partners? Do you share it with your partner? Do you kind of keep it to yourself, and hope that it's going to come out, or do you share it and hoping that, having a conversation about it, maybe we could figure it out? You know what I mean? What about you, Trish? So you openly shared that with me.
I did, and the rest of the sweet talkers.
That's what I
But
was going to say. I have that right here. Yeah.
so what it because I toyed around with it for a few months, because Hump Fest happened months ago at that point. But I just wanted to make sure I wasn't feeling weird. Like I felt like, am I weird for liking this thing? Like, why is this a thing that I like? And is it weird? Are you going to think that that's a kind of a weird thing? And I
Hmm.
knew that I did not want it with you. So
Hmm.
that was the other part, right? It's like, I don't want to do this thing with you. I want to do it with someone else.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like figuring out what this is, because it's new
Hmm.
and it's never been felt before. Like we've been in lifestyle at that point for out of 7 years, I
Something
guess.
like that. Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Okay. So NK Swingers, check them out. NK Swingers, the tribe chat, check them out. They chime in and said, name the bondage practice dummy Shatima. I think that would, I'm sorry, I'm contact moving. I think that name would fit it a bit more
Then
than
Monica.
Monica. Hey man, listen, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into names here. We just kind of threw out three. But hey, if I could go back and open the poll up, I'd drop that one in there.
So
Um,
No Sweet Tucker says, I shared those things with my wife.
mhm.
Hey, Duchess.
Duchess Cashmere, the Cashmere Room podcast. Check her out. That sister's always, she's working hard, man.
I
Check
share
her
with
stuff
my
out.
husband and my LS girlfriends.
There we go.
Nice.
And I think obviously your partner is a good place to start, right? And hopefully, like Tryst, did you have any any apprehension about sharing that with me? Did you feel like I was going to receive it well?
No, I knew you would receive it well,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just the matter of telling you that, okay, yeah, I want to do this thing, but
But
not
not
with
with
you.
you, right?
And how does that make sense? And
Uh-huh.
it didn't make sense to me until recently. And we had that discussion before
Mm-hmm.
internally with you and I. It didn't make sense until we met with Mistress Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And the only word that she said that made it all make sense was that it's because you guys have your own relationship. And that's kind of where that is in that kind of like in that pocket,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it makes total sense why you don't want to do this thing like with him
Right.
because you kind of have that lane.
We
And it's
already have
this
that dynamic.
that
We already,
dynamic,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that dynamic is what I don't need to interrupt in
Okay.
any type of way.
Fair enough. Someone else says, "Good evening, all. Hello, hello." And someone says that I share with my husband because we're in this lifestyle together.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
you want different things. And just to chime in on that for a second, that Locke is really good about sharing like what he wants. I want this thing. This is what I want. I think that this is the first time I would say that I've actually had a thing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a direction of this is what I want to
Right.
do. Right? Because normally it's just like, I don't know. And
Yeah.
we just
That's true. No, you're 100%. And I'm like simple. Like my fantasy, I want a threesome, two women.
I
Like,
want to do an orgy.
yeah, I want an orgy outside.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yours is so specific, and I am here for it
Yeah.
because that's some shit. Like I can work with that. Like you
Yeah.
tell me I want black boots. Okay, we go to PCAP and we go to a sex store. I see tall black boots, black
He
heels.
was like, I'm getting them boots.
Box them shits up.
Yes.
We're one step closer.
Right.
No
And that's
pun
exactly
intended.
what you said. You said we're one step closer to making
Uh-huh.
this happen.
Yeah. So, oh man, Sweet Talkers chiming in. We love it. Thank you. Someone says I share with my partner and my best friend who isn't in the lifestyle but has interest in it. Oh,
Yeah.
send them our way. Let them
Uh,
listen to the show.
Another Sweet Talker says that, Luck, I want to get into Shibari, but I don't know where to start.
Oh,
Definitely DM him because he has a couple of things that he like goes online. That's not something I know, so that is a
yeah.
law question. But but yes, send us a message on the IG. He
Yep.
can definitely like give you some pointers for what he's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
In
IG, Twitter, email us,
Yeah,
the Sweet Life Podcast at gmail.com. And yeah, for sure, I can definitely get you set up. I'm still a beginner, but I can send you, we can work this thing together. So yeah.
NK says that yes, most couples talk about those things first, even if you're not thinking of doing this with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's that why did you hide this feeling? Got it.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the best way, right? Like to try to avoid that conversation. Like,
Yes.
well, why didn't you tell me? Or
Yeah.
whatever that is. And you've done a good job about that, about telling me this and telling me how it makes you feel. And I'm hoping that I'm doing a good job of saying, okay, bet you want
Yeah.
it. Let's go get it.
And also letting your partner, I think this other part is important, letting your partner know that right now I don't have all the answers about
Sure.
what
Right.
exactly this looks like. It took me a minute to even get the whole scene of what I actually want this to be. It took me a little bit, and like I've done internet research. I even enlisted and I
A class, a
participate
virtual
into a
class.
virtual like discussion with other femdoms, and that's called like the Fem Tea Talks, and they do
Mhm.
that once a month. I've done that just to kind of figure out like what all of it means,
Mhm.
and get other people's perspective on it, and then try to figure out what I want. And I'm just saying that sometimes it's okay to go into your partner and say, hey, I think I want to try this thing.
Mhm.
And I don't have all the answers right now
Right.
as far as what this all probably means and how I even think I'm going to get there yet.
Right. True. I'm here for it. It was great. Okay, so then let's see. We shared this in one of our recent episodes. I believe it was in our fantasy episodes, top five fantasies. It was maybe about 3 or 4 episodes ago. Um, and Tryst got a surprise response. What happened, babe?
So we shared about the fantasies and what I wanted to do. And of course, I brought up the fact that I wanted to step on someone. And during one of the live shows, another sweet talker responded and says that you can step on me, and
You got all
and
big and
I'll
bold.
be at PCAP. And of course, I'm talking shit like, oh,
No, that's not how it went down. You're close.
okay, how did it go?
I gotta cut you off.
How did it
You
go?
kind of got it. So yeah, we were sitting there, we're doing our thing, we're telling our fantasies, and you're saying, yeah, okay, fantasy. This is
You
I
see
want to
how
step on
he
somebody,
yeah.
whoop de whoop,
Mm-hmm.
right?
This
And
is
the
how
person
he
chimes in and
impersonates me,
says,
right?
and the person chimes in on, hell, I think we could go ahead and say it now,
Mm-hmm.
Thumper and Bay, they chime in and say, um, or he does and says, hey, I'm here for it. Like, I will volunteer to do that for you. And Tryst gets all bold, like, okay, great.
Okay.
Hopefully
Mm-hmm.
we'll meet one day. We can make that happen, sweet talker. Ooh, mwah, mwah, mwah.
See, you see how he adds the extra parts in, right? This is how he perceives me.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
I definitely know it was not.
Yep. And then a couple of chat lines later, the sweet talker says, well, I'm
I'll
going to
be
be
it.
in PCAP. And my beautiful bride turns a beet red and shrivels up to the size of a prune. Like,
Oh
oh
man,
my God.
I laughed
Uh-huh.
through it because
Put
I'm
your
like, I don't know what to do.
uh-huh. You got a real live volunteer. But go ahead. So no, I mean that was actually the catalyst for everything.
Yes, that was actually the start of everything. So basically we're not going to go into the whole thing about like PCAP and all of that from the beginning, but I do want to kind of give like a brief. So we get there, we meet with Mistress Montana, check her out on Twitter, and we talk about in the interview just about having a connection with the person that you're actually doming. And I had never thought about that before. Like there had to be a connection, like, try to have a connection with somebody. It's not just about in there, oh, I'm going to spank somebody, I'm going to make it hurt, and all these things. It is about having a connection also with that person and treating them as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I just never thought about it like that. So it's kind of similar to the lifestyle where, people are people. And I drive off of having that connection with somebody. I'm not just there just to be like, let me just catch a whole bunch of bodies. That's just not why I'm here in the lifestyle.
Sure.
But I want to have like connections with people. So I just didn't think about that. And when she said that, it made sense. And that kind of is where things started for me. Like when the wheels started turning, like, all right, I can figure this out now. Now it doesn't have to be super awkward with somebody like, hey, you want me to step on you? And like like that, it doesn't need to be that. It can kind of follow similar cadence to lifestyle, right? And when you're trying to like set up that close out that deal is what I call it. So basically, we all what happened was that we met them in the lobby the next day. Yeah, the same day of PCAP. That PCAP started on a Friday. We met them in the lobby. I had no idea at the time that that was the same sweet talker that said that they were going to
ready.
That was ready to get down with the get down. No idea at that time. So I'm thinking, nice looking couple. He has these nice lips. Like, oh, he's super fit. Oh, he could probably pick me up. Oh, okay, cool. And then
That's
I'm going.
funny. I was thinking that about his wife. Huh,
Yeah,
I could pick her up. Wow.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. All right, that, and we're off. However, go ahead.
Speaking of, he actually chimed in. You want to read that one?
Yes, where are we? Okay, wow, I'm learning a lot. I had a fantasy about being dominated for a long time, but it wasn't something that
emphasis
long time. And all caps. But it wasn't something that ever worked with Bay and I. And I guess it was because of our existing dynamic. Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah, it's definitely a thing, apparently.
Yeah.
That, you have that existing dynamic. It's kind of like that
it's
block.
Hard to shake that up.
Yeah, to be like, I don't want to do that part with you.
And then I think the other thing about it is what happens on the other side. Like, you have this existing dynamic where, okay, let's just say, fuck it, I'm the man of the house, and then you have this experience where she's like whooping my ass, and I'm now the sub. So how do we go back to being that? at home. I think that's the problem that a lot of couples probably endure.
Yeah, but I think you could do that. It depends on just where
I'm not saying it's not possible.
Yeah, it's for me. It was just I didn't see you in that type of light to do that. So and I would spend more time laughing, and it wouldn't be as sensual.
That's true.
Like so it would be a waste of time.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I would definitely try to make you laugh.
Exactly, and so that wouldn't work for me. That's not the same.
Fair enough. All right, so
we
met the sexy, beautiful.
So we met them, and then fast forward, they also met some of our friends who we already knew, and we were already had this thing. It was a 6-man orgy, not 6 men, but 6 people. I said 6 man like it was 6 men and me. No, it was in no shade. I'm just saying that it was not. Yeah. So 6 of us, we went from 6 to 8 because our friends also met this couple, and they were like, hey, do you mind if they join in? I'm like, okay, cool. We go from a 6-man orgy to 8 overnight. It seems
you
like
did it again, 6-man orgy.
Oh, sorry.
6-person
6-person orgy to 8 overnight. And you guys can follow up on the details about the actual, like, how that transpired
in the PCAP
recap of the last episode.
What we're going to do is fast forward to Sunday.
No, I'm getting there. Give me 1 second. Let me go through this process. So we go to the orgy because this part is important. That's why I left it out in the last episode.
Okay.
We get all of this situated. We go into the orgy again. Listen to the other episode to find out the details of the full orgy. I'm just going to get into this part of the orgy, why I left it out before. So
get there.
So
okay, go.
Myself and Thumper, at some point, we meet kind of face to face when everybody else is kind of busy doing their thing. And we're in this orgy's already like full throttle, and we are face to face at that point. And it's just like, okay, so now what happens, right? And the orgy, though, he didn't touch me at all. Like, he would not exactly touch me. And at first I was like, okay, what the heck is going on? So I kissed him. We're standing. I kissed him. Again, his lips are amazing. But so I proceeded to kiss him. And then I literally had said these words like, you can touch me. And he touched me. Right? So that moment was like, what? So he touched me.
It was like a
it was like a
flirty, dominating kind of thing that you didn't even expect.
I didn't expect anything in the orgy because, again, on the last episode I mentioned that I didn't think we were their flavor, and I was okay with that, right? But when I was said, hey, you can touch me, and he touched me, and something in that moment was like, okay, all right. Because the orgy's over, and it's said and done. We did not, have intercourse or anything that night. We leave. We go back to our room the next morning, and this is how we get to Sunday, which is why that part is significant because that's why this conversation happened on Sunday. You and I are in the room, and I mentioned that part to you about the orgy because nobody knew about this part but him and I.
Right.
So, and I tell Locke, I said, look, he didn't touch me until I told him to. And then I was like, I want to talk to him. I was like, I want to talk to him today. And I want to find out, like, what is up? Like, I'm trying to have this negotiation. I want to have this conversation because that happened. That means that possibly I could step on him. So it's like, we need to have a discussion. Like, him and I
already established that.
Well, no, that's online.
It became closer to reality.
Yes, it became closer to reality. And Locke was like, I'm here for it. Whatever I got to do, we're going to make this happen. This is my wingman, right?
Yep.
So we get to Sunday.
Hold on. Let's catch up before you're going to read through all your notes.
No.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second.
I was there.
I know. You were. You're awesome. Someone says, I had trouble doming my wife at first. It took me putting myself in another headspace the first few times. And then they also say there were a lot of breaks in the scenes until we were both completely comfortable. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of that. Like, definitely taking your time and making sure you two are communicating and understanding what, you know, I don't know, like how we were saying, like we'd get like super playful. I know if we did that, we'd get really playful. That's kind of why the rope situation is is fun, but we haven't found the sensuality in it yet. Um, Partly because of me, because I don't see her that
Mm-hmm.
way sometimes. I mean, not don't see her that way. Like I can definitely see her in a sensual space, but what it will take for me to kind of like control her, even when we dance, is kind of like the same way. you know it's like, no, I'm leading. So it's kind of that kind of thing. So I understand that. I understand being patient, and I'm glad that it sounds like you guys have progressed and starting to make it work. Okay,
So
so
Sunday.
hang on there, Tiger. I know you're ready. Going back to PCAP at Sunday, Trish Fantasy was already very well known, right? You made it well known with the audience. You made it well known with the potential partners there. We had our great play session. You mentioned all the communicating that you guys did, and then the build up started at the pool.
Yes. So the buildup starts at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Locke is there. He's already throwing out the line out there.
Let
Um,
me take it one step back. So this is the first day that we had actually gotten some really good weather,
yes, it
right?
is. It
This is the
was.
first day because I mean other days were kind of really surprisingly chilly for
Yes.
Texas, and this day everybody kind of just migrated to the pool. We missed out on a couple of events or whatever, like the drag bingo. We heard that that was a lot of fun, but we just couldn't pass up our opportunity to hang out, get some sun, put our feet in the water, and just chit chat. And like I
Locking this
said,
deal.
well, that's kind of what it turned out to be, right? So while we were up there, the negotiations began.
Yes. So, like I said, Locke was a great wingman. I'm serious. Like he was up there. He was like, all right, I'm gonna start this off. So
I try.
he's in there and he's just like, it's like a dude and his homie almost, right? I'm gonna go talk to the girl. I'm gonna, see what's up, and then I'm gonna call you over. This next kind of was like
It
that,
was that
right?
kind of thing.
It was kind of just like that is what happened.
Mm.
So he calls me over. Actually, I was late to the pool. I was somewhere else. I don't remember, but I
The
come up.
clothes, you had to go
Oh, the
drop off
clothes.
the
Right, right,
clothes
right.
swap.
The clothes swap. Right. So I come up and he's like, y'all should talk. And I was like, yeah, we should talk without you here. So you should go away now. I got this. I put my big girl panties on. I'm
So
good to go.
basically, you were
So
sitting in the middle of he and I.
yes, at
Like
that point.
he was on your right and I was on your left, and I could hear you guys talking, and then I would. So wait, make sure you say this.
Yes. And I'm like, well, shut
Okay, make sure you ask him
quiet.
about that.
I'm like, you need to
Yeah,
be quiet.
I
I
was
got
definitely
this.
meddling.
He
Yeah,
was. I was like, go away. I got this. So
yeah.
back so remember I mentioned that I was taking going to this workshop called the Femdom Tea Talks with Miss Lee Kink. And one of the things in there is talks about negotiations, right? When you're about to dom someone, you want to go into with negotiation, but not negotiation in a way that you're just asking them, okay, so what do you want to do? What do you don't want to do?
Mhm.
You're also telling them what you want. And this is what I want to do. Are you okay with that? So I went in with this negotiation, say, okay, these are the things that I would like to do.
Mhm.
I would like to step on you, not both feet on you necessarily. I would like to put my heel on you in particular and possibly put my heel into your nipple until you tell me that it's not okay.
Mhm.
Not that you're bleeding or anything like that. Are you cool with
Mhm.
that? So starting there first, it's just like, is that okay? Okay.
That's the baseline, ladies and gentlemen. May I please
Are you
crush your nipple?
can I please do that? Is that okay? So then I
Yeah.
got the green light for that one. I was like, okay, so we can move over for one more
Uh-huh.
thing. So then I go a little bit further and I ask, is it okay if I step on your balls?
Mm.
Doesn't have to be with my heel on. And turns out he has a foot fetish.
There you go.
And I learned that too, right? In that
Win-win.
conversation. So I got a green light for that one too.
So things are looking up at this point.
Things are looking great at this point. I'm like, all right,
Look
that's
at you.
two.
You touching
That's
yourself
two
right
down.
now.
I was like, that's two things down. We're good to go. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so we got that situated. Now it's just like, is there anything that you want that we haven't kind of like talked about? We go into that. And just making sure that he's okay. And not just that, guys, because he's married.
Mm-hmm.
Also wanted to make sure that, wifey was okay, because that's important to me, right? I don't
that too, but go ahead.
want to have this conversation with you and not also make sure that she's okay with what we're also talking about at the same time. So we went through that, talked through that, making sure that everybody was good, because we know Locke was game because he's over here keep trying to talk. So we know he was in, but I just kind of wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page with things that was going on.
Right. I want to ask the sweet talkers real quick. So, when was the time that you shared a fantasy with someone and they said, "Sure, let's do it"? Like someone was a willing participant to help you achieve your fantasy, whether it's your partner or play partners or whatever it is. And how'd that make you feel? Were you like excited? Did you get nervous when they said yes or no? Right? How'd that go for you? The last time you shared one of your fantasies that you kind of kept, hidden away. So let me know about that.
And then I also had to make sure that, because when we have friends, I mean, we just was in I keep calling it 8-man orgy, but we was in an orgy together.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, if that ends up being a thing and everybody kind of wants to get together, are you okay with us kind of going over to the side and doing our own thing?
Right.
Is that a possibility? So we go through all of this in a negotiation. And I'm telling you guys, when we were in that moment talking about this, no one else existed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't, like, if anybody else was trying to come and like have a conversation, solidify any type of other deals, if I was just like, I was not having it. I was like, I'm about to lock this in. You don't understand. Like, this is my priority right now. So we go through that and we agree on a few of the things in the negotiation, and yeah, it's going to go happen.
Okay. So another question for sweet talkers. Have you ever gotten really close to fulfilling a fantasy, but you couldn't quite get on the same page? Like Tryst mentioned her negotiations. Did you ever have a situation where you were in kind of a negotiating kind of phase, but then it was just like, you know what, we're not going to make this happen. Like this doesn't fit. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to talk and figure out that those pieces fit perfectly.
Yes.
Right? It turned out to be a great, not only a match for you two, but a match for like all four of us.
Yes.
And we'll get to why that was. Let's catch up with some sweet talkers.
Okay.
Where are we? Me and my wife started Diamond Sub, which
led us to the lifestyle. It was hard at first because everything in a man's life tells you is not to be that way with your lady. I understand that. Yes.
Right.
Duchess says, hell yes, I was excited. She's talking about sharing.
Uh-huh.
Last week, look, that's what says. Last week, I asked about using claws and sensory play. Yes.
There we go.
And she was game. We tried it yesterday. How'd it go? Tell me about it.
Right.
How'd
See, so that's good. That goes back to
you see this smile? Like, it makes me excited.
How that response, like, that makes you feel great. Like when you get that positive response of like, when we going?
Yes.
Or when you want to try it, that makes you feel really good and makes you feel really secure about, what you might believe is something crazy. You had to reconcile with that.
I did. I had to reconcile with it myself. It was definitely me. Looks like Thumper says one of the coolest parts about the experience was Locke's enthusiasm and support for Tryst.
That's right.
Yeah, he was
enthusiastic.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, this dude, I was like, if you be quiet.
That's like, that shapeshifter. I told you, I'm here for all the shit. Yeah, like, all of it.
was like, would you be quiet,
Go ahead,
please?
read the rest.
He said he was so committed to making Trist's fantasy a reality. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
best wingman ever.
Bingo. Thank you. He says as a compliment. You're shading me.
I know you have definitely. I'm messing with you and poking with you, but you definitely was
That's
the
right.
wingman. You was a great wingman.
Oh, and they responded by saying it was amazing.
Nice. This is
Mm-hmm.
about
They look
doing the
intimidating, but
claw
she loved it.
sensory.
Right.
Nice,
The
nice.
claws.
Yes, love it.
So
So
hang on. I'm gonna drive a little bit.
okay.
Let me take the wheel. All right. So after the pool, after all the negotiations, what happened? Where did we go? What else did we do this day?
So that day was the formal event. So it's
Did we
basically
go back to the room? Did we go to sleep? Did we take naps? I'm trying to remember because I have a specific memory. I just can't remember if it was Sunday or Saturday.
no, we went back to the room after the pool.
And that's when you took a nap.
Yes.
Okay, so this is when this nasty
Yep.
shit happened. So yeah, so you took a nap, and I took it upon myself to start taking some notes and trying to remember stuff so we can have our notes for the shows and all that stuff. And right in the middle of the afternoon, loud sex.
I remember you telling me
Oh
about
my
that.
God, it was just resonating through the hallways. I could just hear a woman moaning and moaning. It was fantastic. And at this point, Tristan and I didn't have sex that day. We had sex in the orgy the night. What's this? This is Sunday. So
No, we
no,
had sex Saturday.
we did have sex. Okay, right. But anyway, so if this is the same day, I don't know. Still a cool story to tell, I guess. I mean, just hearing just the loud sex, and I'm sitting there writing notes, and it's just like Tris is asleep. Do I bother her? Nah.
Let her sleep.
Yeah, let her sleep, and let's find one of these packets of lube that the little giveaway packets of lube, and let's knock this bad boy out and get back to business. And that's pretty much what I did. Kind of just ran off, listened to the sounds of the sex, and that's one of the best parts about being at like lifestyle clubs is when you're in like the playrooms, you can hear a lot of the sex, and I'm just that kind of person. Like I take in all the auditory, and I just get so turned on by the noises and the fun, and I don't know, man. Had to get that one out. Sorry. But yes, so after the naps and all that good stuff, this, like you said, was black tie night.
So everybody's all dressed up
Mm-hmm.
and looking nice and getting their James Bond on.
Yes.
And it was great.
Had some trouble with the bow tie, but I figured it out.
I think a lot of, I want to say multiple guys was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this bow tie. It's been too long.
We were all over YouTube trying to get it.
Trying to figure it out. But everyone looked really, really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
So
it was like prom night.
It was basically like prom night. You got the little picture with the balloons, and it was great.
It was a great setup. Kate did another great job of setting up this ballroom. Like you mentioned, it was like a backdrop with balloons and fun. Did it say prom night? I can't remember.
I don't know.
They said, but whatever.
Yeah,
night in the town or some shit. And lights, and it was just beautiful.
It was nice. We got a really good picture from it. And the burlesque dancer dancing.
The burlesque dancer. She was hot.
Yeah, she was.
She was all tatted up, but she had a ass for days. It was just she was just nice and a beautiful smile. Oh my God, her smile was fantastic. I'm gonna look at those pictures tonight. Got me all tongue tied.
At this point, everybody's all dressed up, and we kind of know what the plan is, right? But at some point in your head, you're still like, all right, is somebody going to flake out, or are we really going to do this thing? Let's just see. Let's see how this night is going to fold out. So,
what were you feeling? Were you nervous?
I was
excited.
I was kind of like, I was excited, and I was like, hopefully it don't flake out. But I'm really excited about this thing. Right. When I tell you guys, I was focused, and
you were.
I was just like, I'm good. Like, hanging out with friends. Like, okay, it's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna tell you when it really got good, and this is the part that you guys are going to like. So we're sitting here, it's called like rest your feet time when you have on heels. So we're all sitting down on this couch, and it is myself, Locke. I think he was talking to somebody, actually. You weren't sitting down, and myself, Thumper, and Babe. And Babe was talking to somebody else too. So I'm just sitting there chilling. Nothing's happening. And so Thumper like comes and he just like leans over to me. He says, first, I'm getting there. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Because just rethinking about it again.
Ooh.
Okay.
Can y'all tell she had a good time on Sunday? She is.
It made me so excited. I'm gonna tell you in this moment. Okay.
Erupting in laughter. You gotta turn your mic
so
down.
Sorry. So Thumper leans over to me, and at this point, I'm like, okay, we haven't started anything yet. I'm not, doing anything until like later on. We just normal. He leans over to me and he says, "Mistress," and I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "May I go dance with my wife?" And I would look.
That's
like when I tell you guys the tingles that went through my body into my vagina at that moment, I was like, say it again. And I did. I said, say it again. And he did. He said it again. He said, "Mistress, may I go dance with my wife?" And I said, "Yes, you may." So he got up and he went to go dance with his wife. And I waited till he walked off. I looked at Locke. I was like, "Oh my God, I have to tell you something. Oh my God, I have to tell you this thing just happened. I have to tell you." And he was like, "What in the world is wrong with you? Oh my God, you're not gonna like so this is what I was so excited. Like there was this thing, I was so excited in that moment, like, oh my gosh. I want this. Like this thing is going to happen.
I now know my life purpose.
I was like, this thing is going to happen, right? So, so we go through the night, and everybody's kind of dancing. At that point, I'm real focused.
May I please take a pause?
Go ahead.
It's something that I forgot to mention. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna take us back just a second in that space between pool and party time.
Okay.
We received a message in our group chat with Thumper and Bay. We received a message from Bay, right, stating what she wanted out of the night also.
Yes.
And I think this is important.
That's important. Yep.
To make sure that we cover that. She expressed how she feels about watching him go through pain and all that kind of stuff. It makes her a little uncomfortable. She doesn't really like to watch it. So she expressed that, and she expressed that she was open to flirting with me tonight and seeing kind of where things go. But she did not really want to necessarily watch all of everything, that go down with them two. Because that's not her thing, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And so I responded by telling her, I'll be here for whatever you need as far as like comfort. If you just want to hug, hold back, and we don't have to watch. We can just, we can just cuddle and talk or whatever,
right.
Whatever it is. But I just wanted to make sure that was known, because that definitely takes place in what happens next in the rest of the story.
It does. That's important.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to fast forward back to the party where Tryst is now sopping wet because she just told a grown man that he can go dance with his wife, and that is hot, by the way. That is not shade.
I was here for all of it.
I didn't know that I'd be here for it. Like hearing her say that she did that turned me.
It turned him on.
Yeah,
and he was like, "That's so hard." I was like,
all of that.
He was like, "I'm here for all of this right now.
All of it. Let's go. Let's see."
He's like, "What else we gonna do?" I said,
"Go ahead, baby."
Then, so the night goes on, and everybody's kind of dancing, having a good time. At this point, like people, like friends and stuff around us, that have no idea what the heck is going on.
And I feel so bad because some friends like were really, we were trying to get some stuff. They wanted to like maybe get some stuff set up, but it was like,
I was like, no.
We were one track minded. We were so focused on getting this fantasy done.
I was like, dude,
like just seeing where this goes.
I was like, not today. No, I was like, I got to get this fantasy done.
Black and Kinky Lifestyle checks in. What's up, people? Check out their podcast, Black and Kinky Lifestyle Podcast. They say, got here just in time. You damn right you did. Go ahead, babe.
Read the next one, too.
Oh, Thumper and Babe chime in and says, that was some really good comfort. Oh, hey. Ooh, compliment. Ooh, with a little devil emoji and fire.
So then the night goes on and it progresses, and I'm like, okay, so babe, I'm ready to go. Like, get this thing done. Like, I can't think of anything else. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's that focus I've been telling y'all about. Once she gets focused on something,
I can't think of nothing else is going on. I can't even concentrate on none of this stuff right now. I just want to do this thing. So then he's like, okay, so I was like, I'm ready to go set this thing up.
But
Like, let's get this solidified.
we had to have a
So
little pep talk.
we had to have a little pep talk because then I'm like, but
How do
so
I?
babe, how I'm trying to say that I'm ready to go. Like I want to get this thing done. He was like, I understand, I heard you. I was like, so how do I say that?
And
Exactly.
I took the
But
coach role. We outside by the fire pits. I'm like, all right, look, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get in there. You're going to
no, he
pull
did.
your shoulders
He's
back.
not lying.
You hold your fucking head up and you say, listen, you meet.
It kind of went something like that. So it did.
You meet us at our room at 12:15.
No, I did that part.
And don't you be late. You know,
I did
like
that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely was in there.
Yeah.
Like he was the
definitely.
coach.
It was like, go,
So
go get
I was
it.
like, I got this, coach.
That's right. You tell him what it is.
I'm ready. Got this. So I go in and it was not like that. I was not as
no, not as intense.
No.
But you were super, super cool.
Right.
You were super
I was cool with it. I I put some swag on it. I was like, so, because you gotta be cool. Can't be too excited. And it's like, so, about to leave. You should meet us back at the room at
I can't remember. I think we got.
I think it was like 12:15. And so we leave, we go back to the room. And then we cleaned up, kind of like, got changed, put on them boots.
Pulled your chair out to the middle of the floor.
I did.
Pulled the rug it's like a runway carpet.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the runway carpet running right up to the base of her chair.
Yes.
Like her throne now. Ooh.
Yes.
We had the
lights going.
And we had the, our little blinky, flashy lights.
Yes.
We created a quick playlist of some good music that she wanted to hear.
I wanted to hear some good music. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't want anything super fast, anything,
loud,
too loud and crazy. Yeah, but we just wanted some nice, sexy music.
And the thing that I added in too was that I also sent them a message, mm-hmm. and I said that you can go back to your room. If your wife needs to change or whatever she needs to do is fine, but you have to show up completely dressed in your suit that you have on.
Right.
Like you cannot change anything about what you have on. And he had to come to the room completely dressed in his suit that he was in at the party.
Dumper Bay chimes in and says, as I recall, the invitation was in Tryst's words, but with Locke's energy.
Probably was.
See? So you brought that energy. Yeah. I love it. I love how perception can kind of be twisted and you don't even realize it. You was like, so look, you gonna meet me at the room. That's probably how it really went. Yeah. You turning on red. You poor thing. Okay. Sorry. So back to the room. So we're in the room and we got the mood all set. Mm-hmm. Tryst, you change into what?
So I changed into like this red kind of like lingerie. It was like a bottom and a top, basically, mm-hmm. and kind of connected like with very little strings, but mm-hmm. And my boots.
Mm-hmm.
My tall patent leather thigh-high boots.
How tall are the heels?
Those I think are like they're probably like a 5. They're not 6.
Yeah, and these aren't the big thick. These are pointy, get to the point, neat heels. Fantastic.
Yes.
And then I also elected to stay fully dressed. Almost. I didn't have my jacket on.
He did
but
not.
I did keep my tie on. I kept my shirt on because I was playing the role of your little servant, right? Like helping you out. Still in that role of wingman. Whatever you need, whatever it is, I got you. Whatever you need to feel comfortable, I will set it up. I will get the music. I will get the, condoms. I will get the lube or the implements. Like you pulled out, what do we have? We had a flogger. We had the paddle.
And we had clothespins. So there's a thing that so we'll go into that with this too, and clothespins like that you put on for like if you were drying clothes outside.
So now what happens?
So
knock, knock.
So knock, they arrive. And Locke is like, no, you should just come out and no one should see you. They should just come in. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. So he has me wait like in the bathroom and they come in And
I guess this is kind of my fantasy coming
I
true
guess
too. There's
so.
little
Like,
sprinkles of me.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't mean to do that.
So it's
Now that I
okay.
think about
It
it.
worked out.
Okay, go ahead.
So he has him come in and get kind of like situated, and then he brings me out, right? Okay, so he brings me out. Locke and Bay, they're on the bed, just
How were they
kind of like
dressed?
who?
How were they dressed?
Oh,
Yeah,
he was in his full suit.
fully dressed.
He was
Yep.
fully
And
dressed.
she had on a robe covering up her nighty, her little bra panties set, looking all sexy. But go ahead. I'm sorry, getting ahead of
Okay,
myself. But she
so
was covered up in her robe at the time. Go ahead.
yes. So they kind of go on the bed, that's Locke and Bay,
Hmm.
and I sit in the chair.
You did.
And I proceed to tell Thumper that he needs to take off his clothes.
Hmm.
And he proceeds to take off his clothes. And then I told him to stop because he needs to do it slower.
Hmm. So, from my perspective, just her posture in the chair was enough to make me jump out of the roof, jump out of the window. Like she was leaned back with this confidence of this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, we found it and again, y'all, the reason we saved this Sunday for this episode as a single episode is because this is the culmination of just so many conversations and so much digging and these little quizzes and all this crazy shit to finally see her in this element was so moving. It was so powerful, so beautiful with these lights going. It was like red. It was I just imagine a red hue like in our background here.
Yeah.
But I know it was like changing, but I can just see red and to see him fully dressed. He's a great looking guy. You know what I mean? Like she couldn't have picked a better partner for this. Great looking guy. I mean, big, muscular man that she is about to manipulate and tell him what to do. It looks like it should definitely be the other way around. But just to see that flop, that flip flop, it was so sexy and so powerful. But go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
So as he's taking his clothes off, I take his tie and put it kind of around my neck at that point. And once he's done completely dressing, I told him that he should lay down on his back.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he's down on his back, I blindfold him so that he can't like really like look around. So the thing that I also agree with was that I wish we would have had something to kind of like restrain his arms,
Mm-hmm.
but
We'll
we
get to that
didn't,
too.
and we'll
We'll get
get
to
to
that.
that too.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have that. But I told him that he had to lay his arms out. And before we did anything, also was that I asked him about the safe word. I was like, we need to come up with a safe word that if it gets to the point where there is that it's too much,
Mm-hmm.
you need to say what this word is so that we need to agree on what that word is. And we did. We came up with a safe word and what that was going to be.
And like red, green, yellow,
Right.
something
No,
like
we just
something like
did
that.
yellow.
Okay.
It was yellow would mean that you wanted it harder, and like and ginger was the safe word for us. Ginger meant to stop.
Okay.
It's basically it. So you didn't have to say stop, stop, stop. You just say the word, and then I knew that it just needed to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two words that we kind of like came up with. That was our agreement, and we start.
Yeah. Duchess chimes in and says, I love clothespins. Woo. And someone else says, finding yourself as a Dom is such a beautiful experience.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. So I start with stepping
So,
first.
yeah, this is going to be a tale of two stories.
Yeah, because you got to say it from his perspective. Because too, it's completely different from my view, right?
Right. So as y'all begin, and I'm just gonna follow. Like you're gonna give a piece, and then I'm gonna give a piece. All right, to kind of catch up. So where you are beginning, and he's taking his clothes off, I'm helping Bay. We're kind of just on the bed, and she still has her robe on at this point. I'm taking a couple pictures of you two. Right. I'm everywhere. I'm trying to be a silent partner. And help out and help us try to remember some of this stuff too. So we taking a couple pictures, and I'm helping her with her robe. And eventually, I pull her robe down, and I get to see her undergarments, which are beautiful and sexy and just fit her body so perfectly. And then she helps me with my tie, helps me untie my tie. And I believe we share a couple of kisses. But at this point, we were playing spectators, right?
Mhm.
We kind of touch. And again, I would try to, give her little hugs and holds and hold her hand or hold her leg or hold her arm or whatever to make sure that she was okay,
Mhm.
But continue. So back to your side. This is what was going on my side.
So then I start with stepping first. So I actually had on the heels,
Mm-hmm.
and I applied pressure
Where?
to his nipples
Mm.
and his chest. First with just like the like basically just stepping on his chest with my boot,
Mm-hmm.
and then pressing down with the heel like into his actual like nipples. Not like hard, but just enough pressure, and then maybe a little bit harder
Mm-hmm.
the next time. And I did that on like both sides to kind of like see where we are, get a feel for where we are and how that is going to
Mm-hmm.
work
And
basically.
the way that I knew that we was in a whole nother world was when, while he was laid out, you were trying to step on his chest, right?
Yes.
But it was like you weren't trying to just completely put all of your pressure on him,
Correct.
right? So you were kind of looking for a little wall to give yourself some leverage.
Yes.
And I saw that need, and I wanted to help that need. I wanted to help you still, step on him, but without the full pressure. I saw what you wanted. So I come over to reach over to you, and without even looking up at me, you said, I'm good.
I don't even remember doing this part.
I got
But
it. You just said something like, I got it. And I knew, oh shit, this is something, Brandon. Let me get the fuck out of here. She is in the zone.
I don't even remember all of that.
That was the
part
funniest
happening,
part. It was
but
like, you don't even
no,
remember that. You just was like, move. Get
I
out of
was,
here.
yeah, I had it.
But no, yeah, you did. You did. And I
Yeah.
backed out and I did not bother you anymore.
Yes. So then once I got used to knowing like, okay, this is where I'm going to step. This is kind of like where the pressure is going to be. Um, I proceeded to do that, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
When I
Oh,
tell
God.
you the chills that went through my whole body, I was like, this is what it is and what I was supposed to do.
What gave you the chills? His response?
His response,
How it felt on your foot?
it was
What
his
gave you?
response, and also just how it felt
Mhm.
to kind of just do this thing finally. It was kind of like a release for me
Mm.
also. And that he was actually getting pleased out of this thing that I was doing,
Mhm.
right? So that kind of that stepping on those first two initial steps were like, okay,
Mhm.
like, all right, I'm in here. We got this.
Gone.
It's good to go.
Yeah.
We're okay. And I because I didn't know what to expect, right? And how
Mhm.
that was going to feel. So I step on him with my boots on both sides, and it was
Does he appear to like it?
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you stepped
So
on both sides.
stepped on both sides.
Mhm.
Then I took off the boots because again, like I said, I wasn't going to step on his balls with my boots actually on.
Mhm.
So I took off the boots and I pressed my foot up against his balls.
Were you
And
standing or were you
I was
sitting?
sitting.
Right.
I
You were
was sitting
sitting
down
in between his
in
legs.
between his legs, right? And I was pressing on his actual balls with my foot.
Mhm.
And then I also used my feet to kind of like caress, like his balls, and just rub up beside his dick, kind of things like that to kind of
Mhm.
get some type of excitement out of him. Um, and then I used the flogger at a point as well, up and down like his legs,
Mhm.
and not like gently touching, not like
Mhm.
actually doing anything painful, but just gently going across him with the flogger and then kind of like hitting up against his like balls
Mhm.
like in between his legs to kind of get a sensation there.
Yep. And meanwhile, I'm like, snap, 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 snap. Picture, picture,
To
picture.
see how that was working out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we used the clothespins as well on his nipples.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, with the clothespins, is that I put it on, and then what I do is just run my hand across it and kind of like hit it, kind of like an antenna almost.
Mm.
And every now and then hit it again. And then I'll use the clothespin, like when it's still clamped on, and pull it up and then hit it again to kind of just get, run a sensation through and see how that is like working. And
Mm-hmm.
it was yeah, he was getting like chills down his body.
You got my palms sweating now. Shit. Wow. So let me pause real quick and say, Sweet Talker number one, what's up, lady? She said, made it just in time for some juicy deets. Yes, indeed, you did. This is
Yes.
excellent timing. And damn,
So
there was something else I wanted to say there in that pause. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it'll come back.
Yeah.
So I had him turn over too onto his stomach. When I had him turn over onto his stomach, that gave me the ability to actually stand on him. This I don't have on my heels at this point.
Right.
So I actually was able to, and I'm like 5'3". Mm-hmm. So I knew that he could hold my actual weight. Mm-hmm. He's the bigger guy. So I actually at that point, I'm standing on him and kind of like flogging again up and down his legs and things like that. I can feel his breath. And every now and then during this process, I'm asking him and I'm whispering in his ear, checking on him, making sure that he's still okay, making sure we're still good. Do we need to do anything different? Because that's kind of important as well. Just kind of checking in.
And I can see you doing that. I can see you kind of like leaning in and whispering in his ear. And I could hear him, every now and then. Honestly, I don't think I heard you, but I could definitely see you guys communicating.
Yes.
And I thought that was very
cool.
I
definitely was talking to him throughout that process. Mm-hmm. And when I was on his back, so this is what happens. I can feel him breathing. And I also every now and then he's getting what's chills down his back. Like literally he was kind of like shivering a little bit down his actual like body. And we'll get into that kind of like later. But that whole sensation that I was feeling all throughout his body, literally nothing was happening sexually to me. Like he never touched me at this point.
That's what I was gonna say.
I basically I came on his back a little bit. It was kind of like wet. Like when I stood up, because at one point I was kind of like I was
squatting.
I was squatting on his actual like back. And when I stood up, it was wet. So I was getting really, really so excited just by the energy that I was feeling like down his body. And it was so turning me on. It was turning me on just from that part. And yeah, that was great.
So I remember what I was going to say was that this guy is extremely disciplined, right? She's naming all this stuff that she's doing and performing and feeling, but he was motionless.
Yes. He could not touch me.
There aren't any restraints on him, right? Nothing but a blindfold that I don't even know was tied. It wasn't really tied.
It was a tie. Yeah.
But it wasn't like
tied. It wasn't tight, no.
Right. So he was extremely disciplined to just like listen and stay and keep his hands where she told him, all while this crazy, sexy awesomeness is happening to and around him.
Yes.
Wow. Kudos.
So I turned him back over onto his back. Go ahead.
Can I do where we were?
Yes.
At this point? All right. So where we were. Right. So you guys are going through this, right? And we're taking pictures. And I'm telling you, folks, that the beauty of this is that it was all happening side by side, like right there. We're watching. And I asked Bae to sit on my face in the direction that she can see them. I can't quite remember at what point this was happening, but we could tell by the pictures because I stopped taking pictures, obviously, right? So I lay on my back and she sits on my face and I begin to eat her out while those two are going. And I think at this point I could hear the flogger, but at the same time I'm just tasting her and I could feel how excited she's getting. And it was just a great way to still be involved in what you were doing
Mm-hmm.
and to have my imagination running wild
Yes.
and getting excited all at the same time by how excited she was. And I think it was just a great like connection of like energy. It was flowing from you two, going from back up into her and down into me. And I cannot remember a time being so turned on.
Yes. So at this point, Thumper's on his back. I mean, on his, yeah, he's on his back. And look, Thumper says, like, what? He had no idea. I remember the wetness, but didn't know where it came from. That's amazing. Yeah, it came from me. On your back.
He said,
uh,
that's amazing. Yeah.
so
Yep.
he's now laying on his back again, and he's blindfolded. His hands are out to his side. Still not able to touch anything at this point. And then again, Locke, they're feeling this energy. Him and
Mhm.
Bay are kind of feeling this energy. I'm feeling the room and the energy, and I take the clothespin onto one of his nipples and basically leave the clothespin on and start motioning it up and down. But at the same time, while I'm
Ooh.
motioning it up and down, I'm actually stroking his dick up and down.
Oh.
And at the same time, Bay and you.
Nope. Okay, don't go. Don't not that yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me give a little bit more details.
Okay.
There, we're gonna get to that part
Go ahead.
because that's fucking magic. Anyway, so yes, after we switch positions, right? Those two are still kind of going through their motions, and you can hear the energy down there, everything that they're doing. So Bay and I are really turned on. So I kind of step back. She goes down on me for just a couple of minutes, and at this point, we are just sexual, just energy is just flowing. We are able to just connect, right? So we get protection and we lay down on the bed. And there's something that came to my mind during this play session, which was a couple of nights before when we were doing our circle of consent. She mentioned her preferences, and she mentioned how she's it's easy to be it's easier for her to be turned off than to be turned on, meaning you could fuck this up, right? If you go too fast, if you go too hard, if you do, that's how I heard it. And I wanted to be very careful not to ruin this mood for anyone involved, right? So I just listened to her body. I listened to her words. I followed everything that she was, the vibe that she was giving, the energy, the movements. And we laid out, she laid out so that I can enter her missionary. And it was just a smooth connection. Her legs went around my waist, and she is a fun sized person, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. And like her legs being around my waist automatically lifted her pelvis and her ass up a little higher. And we got really close. I mean, like really close where I was like laid over top of her and I could reach my arm around her legs and up and around my shaft and press my hands, like kind of make like a V around my shaft and touching her vulva and my shaft at the same time as I was going in and out of her, and I could feel how wet she was, and as well as feel myself going in and out. It was tremendous. Do you understand? Just the feeling and the excitement and the motions and feeling her legs tighten around my waist as they were on the floor making noises. I don't know what's going
And he had
on.
no idea what was going
We
on
have
at this
no
point
idea
because
what's
they
going
can't,
on.
I can't see what they're doing and they can't see
Right.
what we're doing at this point. So this is when I'm saying that one clothespin was on one side of his nipples and I had his shaft of his dick in the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I could hear what was going on with them, and I was just feeling this whole like vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm stroking him and I'm moving the actual clothespin up and down at the same time, and and everybody is like having these moans and things are just like happening, and whoosh,
Boom.
boom, everybody, it's just like
They came
they both came and
at the
had
same
this at
time.
the same exact time.
Husband and wife
Yes,
came at the same
same
time.
time.
I had no idea. I mean, I knew that we were in a great place, and there was a crescendo, and there was, tightness, and oh, you could feel the orgasmic energy, but I had no idea what was going on the floor.
No,
No clue.
no idea. And they just both came at the same time, the exact same time. And it was just, it was awesome. It
Mm.
was like magic, like this whole thing.
Bay says that Locke listened to things I didn't know I was saying. Oh, well, I mean, your
Yeah.
body was saying enough.
Yeah.
Your body was telling me. I mean, her hips would go to the left, I'd go that way, or go the opposite direction. It was a dance. It was a beautiful, sexy dance. Oh man, and it worked out wonderfully.
Yes. So then,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
so this explosion happens. A wonderful explosion happens. And I am just checking in on Thumper at that point, like, okay, just giving him kind of like hugging him,
Mhm.
right at that moment, because literally uh those kind of like the chills, and it was kind of like a chill, like if you had a chill like going through your body,
Mhm.
that's basically what was happening to him. Or it would be like if you have a whole bunch of adrenaline like going through your body and
Right,
you
right.
kind of like shaking. So I kind of just like hug him for a little bit and just like just making sure, are you okay, those types of things. So once everything kind of like calmed down with that, I was just like, do you want to touch me?
Mhm.
So we go back to it. Like, do you want to touch me? He was like, yeah. And then I, play kind of cat and mouse, like, no, you can't touch me. And he's
So
like,
cruel.
and then he just is like, okay. And I was like, do you want to touch me now? And and then he's like, if you want me to touch you. I was like,
Mhm.
not yet. So eventually I said, yes, you can touch me. And when I allowed him to touch me, we kissed, and
He played with you.
he played with me.
Mhm.
I said, you can touch me anywhere you want.
Right.
And he basically just, was stroking
Mhm.
my vagina up and down. And we are not like, not with his dick, just with his hands, and we're kissing,
Mhm.
and literally I just had an
Yeah.
orgasm. I was
So
like,
you sure did.
yeah,
There was a lot of moaning,
yeah.
and we had the great vantage point at this time. We had maneuvered ourselves to kind of be spooning right above you two.
Yeah.
And we were watching all of this, and I'm kind of, spooning in and out, sliding in and out. We were kind of done at this moment, but we were just still being connected. We
Hmm.
were still being close, and still feeling really good, and just kind of watching you two just finish up,
Yeah.
and to hear you just like moaning and like your head cocked back while you're laying on his chest, and I could see his hand playing with your pussy, man,
Hmm.
and just hear you boom bellow out that loud orgasm. It was whew, man,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good night tonight.
Yeah. So it was it was great. So we finish up, and everybody says their good nights and everything at that point. And the funny part is that so the next day is like we all get together with our
Well, 1 second,
go
hold
ahead.
up. Sorry, before we go to the next day, that night when it was all done, that's when we found out that they came at the same time,
Oh yes, right.
right?
Yes.
And we had a honest moment. We were able to kind of just talk and do a little debrief,
Yes.
right? And ask, because I believe he's been through this before. He's had this experience before,
Yes.
and I think he knew. Thumper chime in. I think you knew that this was Trist's first time, or I think he just found out at that moment that this
Okay.
was your first time.
Yes.
So we asked an honest question of like, what was it like for you, or what could
Yes.
we do differently, or what could she do
Like
differently?
feedback,
Feedback,
right?
right?
Because I think that was important for me.
Absolutely, for sure. And what was some of the feedback that you received?
So the feedback came. So we are fast forwarding some of this. The feedback came after the fact, actually, that we left PCAP and came
I
home.
thought he said this on the while he sat there.
He did, but a
But he
lot
gave
of it,
more.
yes,
Okay.
came
Gave a
back
little bit more detail.
after the fact,
Okay.
right?
We'll go ahead.
So yeah, so a lot of it came afterwards. I kind of want to get into that.
Go for it.
He says, like, Thumper says that, yeah, I knew it was her first time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So everybody kind of like leaves. We have, that conversation. And the next day, we go out to breakfast with our friends because everybody's kind of like leaving. PCAP is wrapping up. And we go out to breakfast and everybody's sitting down. We're eating and things like that. And Thumper like sits beside me, and then Locke is on the other side of me. But to be honest with you guys, I had a moment at breakfast that I was sitting there like, I just want to put my hand on your dick. And then I want to squeeze it a little bit just to see you squirm in front of these people and see if you can keep a straight face and be turned on at the same time. And I was like, no, it's weird. Like, but that's where my head went at one point during eating. It was like, I can just put my hand on your dick.
This is breaking news to me.
So yeah, it was kind of like one of those things because literally that happened like a few hours ago, if you want to call it that, right? So it's still, you're still kind of like
riding that high.
Yeah, coming into this thing, and I'm like, and then you're gonna sit beside me and breakfast, and we got to pretend like this thing is like we don't have this tension that just happened, but yeah, but we go home to that point, and the feedback, that's what I wanted to get into. We have a group chat, and we're like kind of going back and forth. Everybody's getting settled back in, just talking about different things, and I'm just like, I want to know the feedback and kind of how this has happened. Thumper says that this is breaking news to me too.
Right.
So we go home, and and there's a lot of conversation going back and forth, like just within the group, just about like what happened, things like that. And Thumper is giving me feedback actually in the group. We start talking a lot about how he's currently, like, how do you feel now? That now that you're home, kind of like you have some time to like process how are you feeling. So we were discussing his nipples actually. So his nipples was still kind of bruised and sore like when he went home. So
did that turn you on?
But it was a good thing. I'm about to say that, right? So it was a good thing because he was like, it was kind of like a reminder. My shirt would hit it a certain way, and that feeling was there, that bruise, and it would just take me back, and I would just get turned on all over again from that sensation. It was like a reminder that this is what happened. Kind of took him back into that moment.
For you? Did knowing the soreness was there, is that like a badge of honor for you? Did you feel like proud of that? Did that turn you on?
It did. Okay. It turned me on because it turned him on.
Right. Oh, now it's going to be my next question.
It's a thing that it took him back to a moment of a moment that we shared in this space, in that he was still getting some type of satisfaction after it. Afterwards, we're at home at this point that it kind of was like, okay, this is all right. I'm good with this. Those types of things. So yeah.
So what I was alluding to was the feedback that he gave you on that night, and everybody here, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he told you that something about the restraints. Remember?
Oh yes, the restraints. Okay, right. That it would have been better if we had the restraints, right? Because he liked that.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, you were fortunate enough to have someone who was extremely disciplined, who would listen to you and not move. Whereas if somebody else, probably my ass, I would have started grabbing your ass or something ridiculous, and you'd have had to push me back down. Something like that. So yeah, that was still good. That was helpful to hear as well, I think.
So the conversation kind of went on for like a few days. It's kind of like, how are you feeling? How is it now? Those types of like conversations, just trying to get into the mindset of where I am and where you are, like afterwards, right? So we do that for a few days actually, and it gets to a point where I actually pull in a side conversation with Bay, and I have a side conversation with Locke, like at home, because I bring it back to home base that Thumper and I are in this space.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that you are comfortable with what we're talking about and how this is going. If at any point that this is like crossing a boundary or is it making you uncomfortable,
Mhm.
let me know,
Yeah, I mean, it
because
was
I never
evident.
want to cross that boundary. I had that discussion with Bay on the side, and
Right.
then I actually had that discussion with Locke as well, because I want to make sure that everybody is good, because I realize that him and I are in this space. And I want to make sure that you guys are okay with that as
Mhm.
well, because a lot of the conversation at that time was us talking
Mhm.
about this thing and what's going on and the aftermath of it.
Sure. No, it was evident that you had a connection, right? And it was a connection, honestly, that I've never seen before. I've never seen you connect with somebody like that, and I never seen you so like moved by something. And I think it was, again, just to bring it all full circle, it was the culmination of like actually executing this fantasy and exploring this part of you. And I'm not dismissing the fact that these are two amazing people that we
Yes.
had the opportunity to share this with. And it's really, really special. It's a really special moment. It means something. It's something that we're going to remember forever, right? Not only because we're recording it, but it's something that's going to be etched in our memories forever. It was a really great time. These are really awesome people that we cannot wait to see again in any capacity, period. But just to have to share this kind of moment in two separate ways, right? We were in the same room, but in two different worlds.
Right.
But it still was so powerful and wonderful. We're really lucky, really, really fortunate. So yeah.
So, yeah, I got fantasy fulfilled
Mhm.
and desire
Fantasy
done.
fulfilled, and we got new friends out of it.
Yes.
And
And the question is do you want to do it again? Yes. I would do it with Thumper again. I would definitely do it again. Because I think that it can be different
Mhm.
with different people, right? It may not be the same because your connections aren't the same with
Right.
everyone.
Sure.
So you can't just say that, oh, it's going to be, this way or that way,
Right.
because it may not be exactly the same.
Yeah, it may be a situation where you just want to walk on somebody, but not have them
And
touch
have
you at all.
nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it can very well be that.
And they might be satisfied with that. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So yeah, this was maybe something that's just absolutely rare. This could be, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
This
so
was this was
it's
great
it's
though.
definitely more to explore and to come.
Hmm.
No, I know that Stumper says that I'm ready for the run to run
I'm
it
ready to
back.
run it back. Hell
See
yeah.
what I'm saying? See, then you start talking,
Uh-huh.
get me all messed up.
Uh-huh. She gonna be booking a goddamn flight. And here we go.
Like, oh, we want him to come visit.
Uh-huh. All right. Tryst, you got that out of your system, baby?
Yeah.
I know we are running late, y'all, but thank y'all for hanging in there. This was a lot of fun. We only have one more episode before the end of the new
New
year.
Year.
And then we're gonna holler at y'all in 2022. And it's gonna be good stuff. We might be changing some things up, but we'll see. We'll be talking to you.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you for sticking in there. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.
Did you see where your post?